Hey fight fans, today in this video, the rising star of the UFC, Khamzat Chimaev, did not like what Khabib Nurmagomedov had to say about his entourage or why he missed weight at UFC 279, so he fired back at the Eagle. Now it seems that this could be the beginning of a new rivalry between Khamzat and Khabib, and not to mention the former two-time UFC champion Henry Cejudo also spoke out about the weaknesses of Chimaev. Daniel Cormier assessed the possibility of Khamzat Chimaev going to the middleweight division, and some fighters believe that the transition will be difficult. And at the end of the video, Chimaev's trainer Andreas Michael believes that Khamzat can have one more fight before the end of the year. So you guys don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, a few days earlier, former UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov was at a fundraiser with fans in the UK and said that Chimaev's indecent gestures at the weigh-in were unacceptable for a Muslim, and also expressed his opinion that there were not enough Muslims in his entourage, who could then point out his mistakes and give advice. So of course, Chimaev took this as an insult and replied on social media saying, "I ate too much tiramisu. That's why my fight with Tony Ferguson was cancelled 5 times. Remember that Khabib also missed weight against Tony back in 2017. And this is not the first time that a tense situation has arisen between Nurmagomedov and Chimaev. It all started in May last year when Chimaev promised to smash Khabib if they were to ever meet in the octagon. And now the beef is happening again. Chimaev obviously did not like Khabib's statement, so he reminded him of the infamous tiramisu. And as I said in the last video, I do not want to comment on this situation, so I'll leave it to you. Go ahead and write your thoughts down in the comments. Do you agree with Khabib or not? And stay tuned for more future updates. Up next, former UFC champion Henry Cejudo spoke about the weaknesses that he saw in Khamzat. He said, "If we talk about Chimaev's shortcomings, then I would call him a gas tank. I advise his opponent to drag out the fight as far as possible. Even if you lose, you still have to make Khamzat plow, make him earn every takedown. Only then will you really test this guy." I just noticed one thing in the fight with Kevin Holland. Even though Chimaev got rid of Kevin in 2 minutes 36 seconds, he was still breathing heavily. His stomach went up and down and his mouth was constantly open. Now, I personally do not agree with Cejudo. I think that Chimaev was just breathing heavy because of all the emotions of winning the fight in such a spectacular fashion. I've also noticed that many people try and humiliate Chimaev now. Are they jealous of him? Maybe. Cejudo really wants someone to stop him though. Remember what he advised Nate Diaz? Bro, you have to stop him. You have to stop him.
Hey, make him work, even if you do get taken down. That's the key, man. Fucking scramble. Don't stay in that because you expect some shit like that. How about the fuck get to your feet, man? The more you're on your feet, then the better probability you have of fucking stopping this dude. You know what I'm saying? We're cheering for you, man. Weight comes on soon, right? Of course.
Daniel Cormier assessed the possible different opponents for Khamzat Chimaev in the middleweight division, saying, "So it's like because I always wonder, when I look at these guys like Chimaev that dominate the way that they do, I always ask myself this. When I put him against Robert Whittaker, do you favor him? Paulo Costa, do you favor him? Dude, if he fought Alex Pereira, he would be a massive favorite because of the way that he fights. Because Pereira is a striker. He hasn't been in the game long enough to defend takedowns. It's like, how many of those guys would you favor Khamzat Chimaev to beat? And when you answer that question, it's many of them, because of his fighting style, and we saw it on full display with Kevin Holland, who at one point was in the top 10 at middleweight. So the guy is a very viable contender. So right now you just have to take him out of welterweight where he's the number 3 guy in the world, and you drop him in the middleweight and he's probably somewhere in the top 10 right now. It's just a matter of convincing a guy when they've had that much success at one weight class that he needs to go up. Robert Whittaker believes that Chimaev's transition to middleweight is going to be tough, but stylistically Chimaev can handle a lot of the guys in the division. Whittaker said, "It's hard, but I think stylistically, he handles a lot of the guys in the division. I would actually love to see Chimaev fight Pereira. I think that's a great fight for him, and I think it will open the eyes to see what Pereira can do. I'd like to see Chimaev fight Israel, just because stylistically, there are so many different variables in play that it makes it interesting for me." Chimaev's trainer Andreas Michael believes that he can have one more fight before the end of this year, but he also came flat out and said that Khamzat will fight in the middleweight division. But of course, he can make weight if he wants to, he just needs a little more time. We will compete in both divisions, middleweight and welterweight too, get high rankings, and then take both championship belts. So recall that the welterweight title currently belongs to Leon Edwards.
Now look at me now! Look at me now! I told you I could do it!
And Israel Adesanya is the middleweight champ. And previously, Adesanya called Chimaev a bitch for missing weight at UFC 279, so I'm sure that Chimaev will want to fight Adesanya soon. UFC middleweight fighter Paulo Costa is serious about taking on Chimaev. He asked Dana White to put him up against Khamzat. Chimaev and Costa are constantly going at each other on social media, so this fight does make sense. And I think it is a fight that fans want to see. So, what will happen to Khamzat Chimaev now? We know that Dana White supports Khamzat and might even set him up at the winner between Usman and Edwards in their rematch. I know some people will say it's too early, but hey, why not? What do you think? Would you like to see that fight? Let us know in the comments, and that is all for today. So if you did like the video, please like and do not forget to subscribe to the channel.